Hi chess friends, welcome to Mogul Chessboxing Championship of 2022 in December. Today I want to show you this game between Andrea Botez with white pieces and Dina Belenkaya with black pieces. Chessboxing is an hybrid sport that combines two different types of sports, chess and box. And to win you have to do a checkmate or to do a knockout. Here we have a blitz game, 5 minutes on the clock, and it's really thriller game, really aggressive game, so we can begin. Andrea Botez opens with d4. Belenkaya opens with knight f6. We have bishop f4. And now d6, e3, and h6. The idea to h6 is maybe in the future to bring the pawn here on g5 and attack this light square, this dark square bishop. We have knight f3 and now g5, like prevented. We have bishop g3 and bishop g7 by black. We have bishop d3. Now this bishop is really active on this diagonal, and knight h1. This diagonal now is open by the dark square bishop, and this knight here controls the g3, the bishop on g3. Okay. We have knight d2 and knight c6, normal developments of their pieces. We have c3 to consolidate the center. You can see the c pawn, how support the d pawn, the e pawn, how support the d pawn. Okay, we have e6 and now e4. We have knight f4 to attack the g2 pawn, and bishop capture for f4, g capture for f4, and now we have queen e2. Here white could play something like g3, like computer suggests, and this could be a really nice combination. For example, here could follow something like queen f6, like computer suggests, and after move something like queen b3. We can have f capture for g3, for example, h capture for g3, and the game can continue. This move queen b3 prevents the move the bishop d7, because this pawn would be captured. So this is a nice way, queen b3, to prevent the development of this bishop here. Okay, this is a possibility for the continuation. Or for example, here after the g3 push, you can do this, and after white push, for example, here black can develop the bishop, and after queen b3, long castle for both, okay, for white and black. And after this king move, safety move, here can follow h4, or can follow rook g1, or king b1, and the game continues. Okay, but here Botez decide to play not the best move, queen e2, but decide to play queen e2, and here we have bishop d7 to complete this development. We have a4 and now a5 by black. We have knight c4, still a completely draw position for both players, and now queen e7. In this way, black can do a long castle or a short castle, or maybe keep the king in the center. Okay, now we have queen d2. We have d5, and now we have a complexity of the game, because this pawn attack the knight on c4, this pawn attacks the pawn on e4, and the lines will be opened, and it's really complicated. So we have knight a3 to save the knight. You don't want to do something like this. For example, e capture for d5, because here follows this nasty discovery like e capture for d5, and this is check. Okay, this queen is completely fully operational on the e file, and this is a check, so you have to cover with the knight. But here follows this simply f6, and this knight is pinned. Here you have to do, for example, bishop here, but after the king moves, you cannot save the knight. You move the knight, you can move the knight. If you castle, this pawn will capture the knight. So be careful to this discovery attack. So the best move is this, is knight a3. We have d capture for e4. This pawn structure is so strong with the d pawn, with the e pawn, sorry, and the f pawn. Really aggressive pawn structure. Okay, but here we have bishop capture for e4. Nothing of bad for white. Completely draw position still. And now f5. Black is not scared. Probably his king will remain here or will do a long castle. And with the f4 we have an attack for this bishop, against this bishop, and this pawn could be pushed in the future, maybe e5 and e4. We have bishop c2, and now e5. Here white has several options. Can, for example, capture this pawn. This is a possibility, for example. And we have d capture 45, knight capture 45, and here we have a long castle. And after knight capture for f3, g capture for f3, we have a long castle. I completely still a draw position with a nice development of this two pair of rook. White here has a wonderful d file, wonderful e file, but for example, white could have some weakness on h2 pawn. So this queen here has a lot of targets, but a completely draw position with a nice attack for both players. Okay, this is a possibility to continue this game after the e5 pushing. Okay, or you can instead capture. You can instead capture the pawn. You can do a long castle instantly, and after black castle, we have the changement of pieces in the center, like before. You bring the queen here, a really nice centralization. You attack this pawn, and a really active game for white pieces. Okay, so, but here in this position, Botez decide to play the d4 pawn, so d4 d5 with an attack on the knight, and here instead moves the knight. Black Belenkaya prefers to push e4 e5, and now it's really complicated because this knight in attack, you can capture the black knight, because if you capture the black knight, it's completely losing position, because here we have e capture for f3 with check, and also check like before. You have to move the king, you can't block with nothing. Okay, and after this check, the king has to capture, and bishop capture for c6 with obviously a completely winning position for white. For black, sorry, because you can see this king is so weak here. Okay, and the rook are so huge activity, because he can come on the d8 really soon. The rook can come on d8 really soon. So this is not a possibility after this push. Here white could the best move here to do this, a long castle, because it's not important if you capture this pawn, this knight, because you can't really capture. If you capture the knight, white can capture, d capture for c6, bishop capture for d6, and now the rook is coming. So rook e1 with an attack on the queen, on the king. It's a problem to defend on an e-file, and the bishop has to close, but here follows simple g capture for f3 to take an attack, to bring an attack on the bishop on e4. This bishop is completely blocked, so you have to do something like this to counter-attack, but here white has a lot of possibility. Queen capture for d8, queen capture for d8, and after rook capture for d8 check, king capture, and f capture for e4. And obviously completely winning position after this, with the rook and bishop and knight for white, and only a bishop and the rook for black. Okay, so after this really nice long castle, with an idea to bring the rook into the game here on open file, okay, the rook here and the queen rook here, really active game, you can capture the knight. Okay, here black has to come on the e5, and after the knight capture for e5, we have bishop capture for e5, and the game is completely draw, with a nice position for both players. We have a long castle of black, and the game continue. Okay, with move like this, it's not a problem, you can continue to put pressure here. This pawn is not so important for black. Black here has a lot of activities, this pawn are so dangerous, so it's not a problem. But here we have not this long castle by white, because here Botez decide to do short castle, and this is a first mistake of the game, because short castle here doesn't work, because here we have knight e5 by black, and here we have knight d4, but the problem here is that follows f3, and f3 is not a good move for white, because white here has a lot of problem. Black is really aggressive. You can see the structure of f pawn, e pawn, and then f pawn to put pressure on g2, and here we have g3, but the best move here in this position was to capture this pawn, with an idea to, after queen h4, to bring the king here and try to defend, maybe to bring the rook in the future on g1 after this long castle, or maybe this. Yeah, it's better to bring to do a long castle here. White can survive. Is not a good position with a correct game. Black here is completely winning, but this move after f3, the best move was g capture for f3. Okay, but here we have g3, and now black has a huge counter attack, because we have h5 with a nice idea to bring the pawn on h4 and open up the line, and we have a knight b5, and now bishop h6. This bishop is absolutely strong, active, attack the white queen. Okay, and here we have queen d1 to come back with the queen. Sorry. Okay, and now black play queen g5. We have a knight capture for c7 check, and now king f7. I know what are you asking, why black leaves the c pawn free with a double attack for this fork, terrible double attack for the knight and the king. But here black want to attack, has a completely free path for checkmate, and after knight capture for c7 check, king move on f7, and now king h1 to try to bring the rook here to defend, because the idea for black is to bring the queen here and then here, and to do checkmate with the pawn. A really bad position for white, But after queen g4 we have d6, but we have a checkmate here. After queen h3 we have bishop b3 check, king moves, bishop g6, and now rook g1, but here follows simply knight g4, and this is an incredible threat of checkmate. Knight f2 will be checkmate, queen h2 will be checkmate, and here white can't stop all the threats. You can try to play knight capture for f3, but after e capture for f3 we have bishop f7 check. After the king move, king h1, you have to avoid the check. You have not to capture the with the king, because you can do still, but you want to avoid the check, so king come here. And after this white tries another check, but after king capture there is nothing that white can do, because if you capture this pawn, black can capture queen for h2, and if you move the queen here to try to defend from knight here, this is checkmate another time, and yeah, you can do nothing. And if white do a casual move, there are a lot of checkmate. This is knight checkmate, knight for f2, or like queen h2. So I really like this game because it was a really thriller game, and I think about this chess boxing, where you have to be really physically strong at the same time. You have to think a lot for chess, to be really concentrated, and try to think to do a lot of sport, like box, and then to do instantly after a few minutes a chess game. It's really hard, I think. You have to do a lot of preparation, and this game was really aggressive for black, I think, with this sacrifice, like queen here. After queen come here and you decide to capture, this is completely bad position, with this nice checkmate threat, unstoppable. Okay, and I show you before the way to escape for white. Here was better after this pushing, is to do simply a long castle. Okay, but white decide to do a short castle, and this is not so good because this pawn here is too strong. This is a really too strong threat, and the game obviously in this way is really difficult to continue this game. So I hope this game of Mogul Chess Boxing Championship of 2022 enjoy you. Thank you very much for watching my video. Remember to subscribe to my channel to see all my videos here, and thank you really much. See you soon, and bye.